No, they don't get it. And if we're being honest, we wouldn't want it any other way. The bonds we've created with these seas, with these places, with these damn ships, from the friends we bring to the ones we make at sea. We cruisers are a part of something, a fraternity that many people we love on land, quite frankly, will never get. So why even try to make them understand? But where do we go from here? As our world has changed and the form of travel and way of life we never imagined having to live without is taken from us indefinitely, we need to remain engaged. Think back to the last time you were floating carelessly somewhere across the sea, on some pool deck with those toes in the water and an ice cold drink that's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. None of us could imagine the new words and phrases that would make their way into our day-to-day. Social distance? A new normal. What do those even mean? So as we all do what we do, those neighborhood walks, those nervous hellos to passing strangers, those tense trips to the store in our new disguise. To the powers that be, whether on this earth or elsewhere, understand one thing. Our spirits will not be broken. No one knows when, but sometime soon we'll be overpacking, complaining about the long lines through customs, embracing the sun, the sand, the sea, and the very best of what being on a cruise ship means to us. Now, our spirits will not be broken. It could take a month. It could take a year. But when that tropical breeze, those tall palm trees, and the who knows what of the seas come calling, you can bet your ass we'll be there. We're going to travel across bridges, through forests, over mountains, and we will return to the form of travel that has become more to us than anything I could possibly give words to. And let us all know that every sun that doesn't set behind a fiery backdrop of crimson clouds and golden sea gets us one day closer to one that will. Oh, we will be back. Some say there's risk, some say it's not worth it. It's not their fault, they just don't get it. And if we're being honest, we wouldn't want it any other way. Boat drinks.
Hello, shipheads. Well, it's another Wednesday with another ship show tonight. Wonder what surprise they'll have for us this week. Maybe there's a surprise over here. Maybe there's a surprise over there. Maybe there's a surprise up here or even down here. But what I do know is that you won't know if there's a surprise until you watch. So we'll see you all tonight. Bagaaaaaaaaak!
Ship Show.
What's up, ship heads? How is it going?
Hey, yo, all aboard.
Please tell me we've got audio working well. It looks to be. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Hopefully you can hear this rockin' jam in the background.
From New York City to the USVI. Is that a full margarita, man? Finish it up. Cause we about to run the beer like gone.
Yeah, baby.
She ain't gotta be a 10 cause we did the things. And we'll do
I love this song.
Tonight's the white party, but we blacking it out. Cause we got
The drink package and we maxing it out. Yeah, baby.
Cause we gotta get away to where the boat leaves from. Yeah.
What a great tune.
There's a place
Where the boat leaves from. This song just gets stuck in your ear. You can't get it out. I'm telling y'all. Get away to where the boat leaves from. All right, folks. How's everybody doing tonight? No doodles, as you can see. But rest assured, we got you covered with some with an esteemed guest here. And we're going to bring him in there here in a second. But first, we'll do a little housekeeping. We'll say hello to everybody here. Let you know that if for whatever reason things go awry, you can rest assured that we will be right back. So, you know how I get. I get a little nervous when it comes to the ship show every week because I'm always adding new stuff and making things a little different. But... fingers crossed, so far, so good. We got a green stream here. We got some peeps watching, too. So, listen, why am I messing around? Let's just bring in our guest. What do you say? Should we bring in the guest? Let's bring in the guest. Woot, woot. What's up, sir?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Pleasure to be on the ship show.
We have got Tommy Casabona from Always Be Booked live and direct on the ship show.
Right.
How about that? Would you just look at it? Look at it. So we got over 100 people in here. How you doing, Tommy? How's your evening? What are you up to this fine evening?
Well, very well, because untypical for me, I guess, as of late, I'm doing a little Wednesday drinking. We have my good buddy James Earl Beam next to me.
Ooh, nice.
Got a little bit on the rocks, IPA, because I know how you guys do it.
That's right. You know how we roll, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I've got the Buffalo Trace going, but
yeah, of course you guys keep it classy around here. I get it. I understand.
Yeah. Well, Buffalo Trace is my good friend.
You got me probably by about at least $45 for the bottle, right?
Well, no, it's not that. It's not that much. Nope.
Okay. You can get this gym for like $17, I think.
Well, okay, so that it's only $22 or $24.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, for the Buffalo
right.
Trace. So yeah, it's all good. So can you see the stream on your phone? Can you see us both on the screen?
Yep.
Okay.
I see everybody. I see Paul. I see Donnie. I see MGM Family Travel, Dewey, everybody.
Lots of folks here, and we're going to say hi here in a minute. So where are you right now?
Right now?
Yep.
I'm in Boca Raton, Florida.
Okay.
South Florida. Just got back from Key West. Nice quick little trip. But yeah, just living that South Florida life for now. Loving it. Loving every minute of it.
I'll bet you are. I saw some of the pictures from Key West. I actually saw a video of the chicken you sent me. That was nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Flamingo Pam.
You've ruined chicken sightings for me forever. Thank you, John.
You know what? I think I have for a lot of people. So you're welcome. Flamingo Pam says, what was the name of the artist of that song? Well, Flamingo Pam, you're looking at him. That would be. All right. Are we back? Hopefully.
Yep.
Crossing our fingers. I think we're back.
Oh, I see us. I think it's still in that loop, maybe, no?
I don't know. I think, yeah, we're back. We're back. Sorry, folks. You know how it works around here. We get people in, and then we crash, and then we have to start all over again. But we are back. I don't know why that happened, but I'm sure it'll build back up. People are quick to leave. We need Pauletta to do a comedy set. What's that, Tommy?
Said nobody was injured. Everything's fine. We're going to get through it.
That's right. That's right. So we were talking about the song. That was Tommy's song.
Yeah. So the song I wrote the lyrics to.
Yep.
And I guess way back in the day, maybe I was a little bit more. Now I know everybody out there is probably looking at me being like, that is a gangster rapper if I've ever seen one. So I had a little flirtation with a rap career, mostly for fun, and I always just wrote lyrics. So I just dusted off those old skills and wrote the lyrics to the song. I did try to rap it, but then I went on the website and found somebody. It's amazing when you think you could rap and then you listen to somebody who actually can rap and realize that you can't. And this guy. I think the guy nailed it. The guy I got on Fiverr did a really good job.
Yes. Fiverr, everyone's friend.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Love that song. And I've been singing it all night and my wife's like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, she's not watching. She wouldn't know. So.
Well, the original song is, we got to give him credit, the Zach Brown song, Where the Boat Leaves From. And that is a ridiculously catchy song. So, I mean,
Nancy's saying John has a sweet setup. It's amazing how awesome the studio is. Well, it'd be more amazing, Nancy, if little things like that didn't happen. It's a blue screen of death that I'm getting on my computer that happens once and then doesn't do it again. But it has to happen. It just has to stinking daggone freaking happen. But I can't tell you, Tommy, how excited I am to have you here. I know we've talked back and forth privately online, and I've been listening to the podcast. So does York. And, it just kind of worked out. The timing was perfect. We had a conversation. I forget what it was about. It was something, but then I was like, now that you're here, I was going to ask you anyway if you wanted to fill in for York, and it just worked out.
Yeah, that's the weird thing because, I've been on a couple of shows. I've had a couple of people on these shows, and me and you, we don't really know each other at all very well. So but the weird part is when we watch so much of each other's stuff, you feel like we know each other. So like when we met or we just started talking, it was like we just picked up as though we knew each other. And, I think, I've felt good when you came along because I felt like I was like carrying the lunatic job, the crazy people for the cruise space load for so long. And I was so happy that you came along and, I see, who's this guy making chicken noises? I was like, all right, I'm in.
I love it. Yeah. And, I think that's why it was so easy for us to gel like that was because, I saw all the pictures and all the videos and stuff from the Pirates and Pier Runner trips, your group cruises and stuff. And to hear you talk on the podcast, I knew I was in good company. So for those of you here watching who don't know about Always Be Booked, it's a podcast, for heaven's sakes. Why don't you tell the people about it a little bit?
Well, that was it. It was about 3 years ago. I just really get obsessed with things. When I find something that I really like, I like to be a participant. I don't like to necessarily just be a spectator. So the minute I found cruising and I found the real love for cruising, I matched that up with my desire to kind of scratch that entrepreneurial itch. And I kind of merged the two. And that's really what happened. And my take on the whole cruising thing was I heard a lot of people out there, such a big fan of so many shows that were out there, even back then. It's 3 years as if it's like 25 years ago. But even back then, I still knew that I wanted to kind of come in with a little bit of a different angle, a little bit of the drinking angle, the party angle. Everybody knows cruising is for families. Everybody knows that cruising is for, people who are just married. I wanted to kind of get after it. You get a group of friends together, you could do some damage on a cruise ship.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of what we're about over here around these parts.
Yeah. Well, so give us a history though. How did it start? Like, so you decided like you said to scratch that entrepreneurial itch. Where did it all begin?
In 2000 and I guess, what would you say, about 17, I really wanted to, I actually had a podcast about the Yankees and, I had a little pop for that for a little while, but then I really just basically, I wanted to combine that and okay, well, podcast, how do you make money on a podcast? You also have to kind of monetize it through a travel agency. So I did do the travel agency thing too. I'm still doing that as well. I think, I just have a passion for it. You know what I mean? I love getting on the air. I really hadn't had any idea about the engagement, the community that would build. As you probably know, nobody's done it better than you. So I just basically started. I found out how to start up a corporation with the name Always Be Booked. And then I basically did the whole travel agent thing, got a host agency, and then found a podcast host, like an online podcast host. And the rest of it, I just basically just started spewing stuff out of my mouth and just stream of consciousness. I told a lot of crazy stories in the beginning. There were a lot of crazy stories in the beginning, a lot more crazy stories in the beginning than there are now, but we still get after it. And to me, it's just about making memories. It's about getting on a cruise ship and just having the time of your life with like-minded people. And that just doesn't go away when you get off the ship. You know what I mean? Those memories are etched in your mind forever. Yeah. Through Facebook, through texting with your friends, to, getting drunk with them on land and kind of like reliving it. It's just warms my heart. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And the friendships that you make when you're on board, you can hear it even in the song that, the lyrics of the song. It's like, or in your intro video, that video that everybody watched leading into the show, Tommy did that video as well. And I mean, the friendships that you make cruising, whether on board, like you said, or the people you bring along with you, they're lifetime, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. And
it makes it easy to talk about.
Yeah, when you have that good of a time with that many people and you visit those places and the setting too, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. There's so many people who kind of, I guess what would you say, kind of maybe hate on cruising a little bit. Yeah. I don't understand it. There's just, put me on a giant ship built to entertain me around every corner. Put 9 of my best friends with me. Take me to some of the most exotic destinations you can. Oh, and by the way, have it filled with booze.
Right.
What do you want? What else do you want?
Right. You couldn't ask for anything more. Well, I've got tons of questions for you, and I'm sure the people in the chat do as well, and we'll get there. But first, I want to get into the chat and say hi to the peeps real quick. I'm going to do it quickly, but I don't want to miss it. Last week we were so busy, and I forgot to, so I want to say hi to the folks in the room. We got Always on the Move, Josh Odom. Welcome, sir. Carolyn Gale. There's a new name. Wonder if she's a cone. I bet she is. Christopher Brown, Cruising for Food. Daniel Fields, D. Decker, D. You're going to want to stick around because I got something for you. Well, it was actually something that you unwittingly gave to me, and now I've got it for you, so stay tuned. Donnie Luke's here. I can't do the sound effects, Donnie. Sorry. Daniel Fields. Who else? Flamingo Pam is in the house. Garrett Labelson. Chris Gow. Kathy Mills. Lindy Lou. The one and only Mother Hen is in the house. Say hello to Liz, everyone, and make sure to watch your mouth, because if you don't, she will hammer you quickly. Mallory Pfeffer is here. Michelle M is in the house. Welcome. Najuma Brown, glad to have you. Nautical Nurse Nancy is in the hizzo. Welcome, Nancy. Thanks for joining. Paul Atta, Robert from Life with Favor. Ruth Todd's here. Welcome, Ruth. Sandra Gadaletta's here. Glad to have you. Welcome to the Ship Show. Let's see who else we got. Oh, boy, the chat's jumping. We get Lindy Lou in the house. People are here. They're jumping in. Michelle M. Who else we got? Sharon at Sea Travels in the house. Welcome. I assume Jamie and Sharon are sitting there glued to the TV watching. Sandra. Oh, I said that. Let's see. See the World with Chris. Welcome. Positive Vibes Adventures. Paul Atta is in the house. Welcome. And let's see, boy, the chat, the participants are jumping all around. So if we miss you, apologies, y'all. Who else we got? The Tyler Show, Tiffany Longino, Gino, Timothy Walters, and certainly last and certainly not least, Trevor Bagaaaaaaak. Now, I see also Linda. Did I see Linda Cusiakians in here? I saw a name pop in. Tess Almond is here.
Tony and Jenny. See Tony and Jenny are in there.
Tony and Jenny are here? What? Welcome. And let us not forget the random collection. So if we missed you, raise your hand in the chat and I'll try to say hello. And if you've got questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. And I'm just going to give you guys a little Easter egg here. At some point, we're going to drop it like it's hot and give you guys a phone number to call if you have a legitimate question. Now, I will warn you, the first question you're going to be asked when I answer the phone is for you to identify yourself. And if you don't immediately identify yourself, I will immediately hang up. So that's how it works over here on the Ship Show. So if you got questions, though, feel free to ask them in the chat, but I've got quite a few. You mentioned, Tommy, that you're a travel agent, and I can't imagine during these crazy times that it's always a lot of fun being a travel agent right now.
Out of control. It's crazy. I feel bad for the people who answer the phones at the actual cruise lines too. It's just amazing because we all know uncertain times. We don't know when we're going back to sea. I think we can agree that there's a time when they say that they will sell sailings up until, but then there's the reality. When are we really going to get back on these cruise ships?
Yes.
And they're selling these sailings that, you know what? I don't know, not to be negative, but they're probably going to be canceled.
Right.
So they're just basically creating bookings to knowingly have to delete them. And any work that you do right now, a lot of the travel agents out there would probably agree. A lot of the work is to make yourself less money, which, it is what it is. You know what? You have the good, you have the bad. I have faith in this industry, which is why if you saw that video at the top of the show,
yes,
that was a call to arms. That was just nothing but a call to arms. I feel like, we have enough things out there today that are dividing us as people. And when I see it bleed into something as beautiful as cruising, how people are getting divided on cruising, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, we should be back out to sea, we shouldn't. You know what? Let's just think about how much we love cruising. Let's remember the good times and know that they're coming back and just kind of stay focused on that. You know what I mean?
Man, I couldn't have said it any better. And you're right. Like, and I can understand, some people right now are probably getting a little ticked off because they don't know, or now they're starting to realize that, hey, these cruise lines are booking cruises that aren't happening. It's kind of like, and it's almost like the moving cups game. You're just constantly shuffling cups around to your next cruise, and not knowing is the worst. And then of course on your end, like, hell, there's another cruise that I booked that I've got to either rebook or say goodbye to. So we missed a couple people. Jay, a.k.a. The Wrench Bowen, is here. Welcome. Johnny B. from Bella Travel and Adventures. And somebody in the chat, I can't believe Liz didn't hammer this comment, but somebody says, this would be Carla McClendon. She says, go Steelers. And I just threw up in my mouth a little bit, and I have to rinse this out.
I love what you built here, because you could just see, I'm just looking through the chat and stuff, the amount of people that's saying hello to each other. Everybody's got to get situated, say hi. The salutations are through the roof, and that's just a testament to the community that you've built.
Well, yeah, thanks. And we love our group here, the Coop, as we like to call them. And you'll see as you watch the chat, they do interact well. For the most part, we don't have any butt nuggets out here. But, every now and then, Donnie Luke tries to sneak in a couple eggplants. But, I don't mind. That's Liz's deal. So
she's good at it, though, right? She doesn't play around. You don't mess with Liz.
No, you don't. Trevor wants to know, what's everybody drinking? Pauletta wants to know, what's the phrase that pays? Pauletta, he's up there in far northern Canada, getting ready, as I understand, to make a journey south real soon, and eventually he's going to end up in Fiji. Fiji, y'all, which is good for me, because if I ever end up in Fiji, I've got a place to stay, I'm sure. Let us not forget, Wanda Ernstberger is here as well. So welcome, everyone. She says, I have faith in the industry, too, and I've never set foot on a ship yet. Well, that is great to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
How jealous of you. How
you know
jealous
what that was?
of her are you right now?
You know what that was? That was
super
this.
awesome
A
comment.
super awesome comment. Thank you. You're right. It's, you got to have faith. I think George Michael said it best when he said, but you got to have faith, the faith. Sorry. Baby, I want to touch your body. I don't know the words you say, but I got a body like me. Sorry. Couldn't help
I
it.
was about to start a beatbox, but then I
Well,
felt better
it probably would have been out of sync anyway. It's a ship show over here.
Oh, yeah.
So, we had a little discussion earlier or yesterday about things that went down. So not only do you have your podcast, but you do like a daily Patreon thing for the people that choose to subscribe and listen to that. And you were telling me a story about, and I wish I had the song, Tommy. I forgot to load it. But if you tell the story, I can get it loaded. Oh, I can't because I remember I couldn't save it. But tell the story about how you got sucked into a rap battle and how you won, would you?
Oh wow! Shout out to Scott Stevenson. I don't know if he's here. Listen, we do group cruises like a lot of the creators out there, and we've only done one so far. And I got to tell you, there are not words that I can say to how much fun I had during that group cruise. So what are we going to do? Of course, we're going to plan another one. So we were planning another group cruise. And of course, as things grow and, 19 people becomes 36 people becomes 50. And then, then you have more people kind of weighing in on what the sailing should be. So then we started doing a little going back and forth. Somebody had a suggestion. One of our super cones, Scott, decided that he was going to send me a rap about why he thinks we should take a celebrity cruise on our next group cruise. And I'm like, all right, I took it in. And no offense, Scott, if you're here, if everybody was, it was worse than bad. It was worse than bad. And I'm not going to say mine was great, but I did pop in and I tried to do a response to him saying that, listen, for us and for what we do, it's going to be Norwegian all day. You know what I mean? Not that I have anything against celebrity cruising, but celebrity cruise line, but for what we do, for what we're looking for when we get out to sea, it's going to be Norwegian. And I made a little response to him when so that was it.
And you won, and it was Norwegian indeed, right?
Yeah, well, we didn't go yet because there was a worldwide pandemic.
Oh, this was after the first one. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it was after the first one. And did I win the battle? All I'll say is I haven't heard from Scott since. That's all I could say.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'll let the people decide, but
You won. You won.
Yeah.
So the Gaylors say it may take time, but cruising will be back. I just booked a 14-day for 2022 today.
I think you're good. 2022, hopefully you're good.
So you mentioned just now about super cones. So for the people here watching, there's people out here that don't know what the hell a cone is. And I feel that it's high tide they do know right now. So,
okay. So what a cone is, and usually, people will ask, they jump in, we'll say cones. I do a lot of stuff, and I've interviewed some people, and I'm not saying it's like this on all ships, but on a lot of ships, and I have all the respect in the world for this, and hopefully this doesn't rub a lot of people the wrong way, but, you're at your job, right? What do you do? Whatever you have, your customers at your job, you value them very much, right? But in order to keep a certain level of sanity, mental sanity, you're going to have little inside jokes. You know what I mean? The crew would be no different. Those people get after it. Don't make no mistake. Whatever partying you think is going on above the waterline, below the waterline is probably puts it to shame in general. But so they have a word for us. Some of the ships, they have a word for us, and they call us cones. And I was very, very curious as to what that meant too. So I found out, I was like, oh, you're, like if you're a cone, you're in our way. We're hungover, we're drunk, we're trying to recoup from the last night, and we got to get to our station within the ship that we're trying to go to because we're probably running late. We haven't showered. We're just, washed our face and ran out. Mm-hmm. But then without a fail, somebody will jump in our way and ask us probably what is a stupid question, because we tend to turn our brains off when we're on vacation. So then they get stopped so many times. We've had the moniker given to us of traffic cones. And I think that is in the best way possible. I think it's endearing. I love it. I'm a proud cone, and I say let them. You know what I mean? As hard as they work and as what they do for us, let them have their little inside jokes. Let them have their release, their event, and so that's the cones. And then the Patreon. If you step into that, that's you enter into the world of super conehood.
I'm a super cone.
You are. Welcome on board. How did it feel when you crossed that threshold?
It was liberating.
Did you feel, was it metamorphosis?
It was, and it reminded me of my wedding day. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow. Okay.
It was great. But yeah, I'm a super cone, and you know what? It's funny because it's true what you say. Our guest last week or 2 weeks ago, Kieran Cox. He's an entertainer on Harmony of the Seas. York and I had some in-depth discussions with him offline about what's going down below decks. Okay.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely right. What's going down below decks doesn't compare, right? They're going from 1:30 till 6 a.m. most nights, and it is a smorgasbord of I don't even
Revelry.
know of debauchery. The one thing that comes to mind is this. They're just getting down. Oh, yeah. The cones are in bed, and it's time to take the cruise ship down to Pound Town. Ha-ha! Anyway, but no, he was telling us, that what happens down there it's crazy. And he brought up a great point, which I mean, I loved it. The people asked him when we were interviewing, what's it like being in a relationship on board? And he goes, well, it's actually kind of cool because it's a relationship with an expiration date, right? And the way he described it, it's just like, man, you're absolutely right. We can't hold a candle to what they're doing. And plus, a lot of them are young. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
they're making good friends on board. But yes, you know what? I'm a proud cone, without a doubt.
Super cone at that. I agree with you. I've seen it all the time. I've seen, like, you get into them a little. When you talk to them a little bit, you can get some of the stories out of them, and yeah, it's fun. You know what I mean? They have, from what they mostly say, is that they have their life on board, and they have their life it's on the ship. They have ship life, so it's completely different.
Yeah,
the one very rarely commingles with the other.
Robert from Life with Favor says, "Cones be coning," and I missed a comment. It was actually one of the cones mentioned that you smoked Scott.
Well, yeah, like I said, you know what I mean? That's not for me to decide out there. That's for the people to say. And if that's what they believe, then yeah, I ripped him, absolutely shredded him, if that's what they say.
BTRX says super cone here. Carol Shalifor, super cone.
Carol, yes.
Kathy Mills, super cone. Kevin Counts. I booked a cruise today. I also canceled 3 cruises this week. I'm trying to find that comment, but Chris Cancel. He was the one who said that you put Scott to shame. As a matter of fact, you put him in a retirement home.
You have a Pepito. He's a Pepito too. He's CJ Pepito, right?
Oh yeah.
You have a Pepito too, right?
Yeah, we have TCU Pepito. Yeah, but
yeah,
I don't see him
CJ
here tonight.
Pepito. Okay.
He might be here. Diana Fisher says, yes, you did.
He said there was going to be a response when he was put that. He said there was going to be a video response, and he was going to do like a video form. So we'll see. We're still waiting on that. It's half. The summer's half over, but yeah, I'm sure it's on the way. Scott.
Yep. Lori DeShield says, I love the idea of a relationship with an expiration date. 4 years is good for me. Trevor McGockler says, I'm a cone.
I think the 3 month, the established at the beginning 3 month relationship is a very underrated thing out there nowadays. I believe that truly.
Well, and he brought up good points. It's like it's all in hyperspeed on a ship, because it's not like when you're dating on land, you may see each other a couple times a week. When you're on the ship, you're seeing each other every day for hours at a time. So it's kind of like ramped up. Listen, in hindsight, knowing what I know now, right, I truly can tell you that I would have absolutely worked on a cruise ship in my younger years. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Work hard, play hard, right? You're doing both.
That's right. We got a super chat, Tommy, and it's from Paul Atta. Thank you, sir. It says, welcome to the coop to all the cones. So the coop are welcoming the cones. I love it.
It's a great marriage. I think it's a great marriage.
Perfect. It's perfect. And, Paul, I got something special for you. I did it today just in case you happen to do that, and this is for you. Thanks for the super chat, Paul. Appreciate it. And yes, indeed, welcome to the Cones. Welcome to the Ship Show. For those of you who've never seen or heard of the Ship Show, glad to have you. So thank you for the super chat, sir. And, you know, while we're at it, I see D. Deckers here. And Tommy, she's from Australia. She does her own vlogs. She does cruise vlogs. And her husband is a DJ. And they're stuck in Melbourne, Australia. Okay. And they do live streams on the weekends, but most of the time it's like their Friday night is our Friday morning, right? Okay. And so they're going live, and they do these DJ sets in their apartment in downtown Melbourne, right? And they're big Coop members. And there was a post made by one of the Coop, Paul Atta, who basically it was a picture of a bunch of accordions on the shelf, and it was limited to 2 per family, like the toilet paper in this freaking pandemic, right? Yeah, right. And all I have to say is, Dexter, sorry, I couldn't help it. I saw that and I knew without a doubt that had to go on the show. I know, Tommy, you can't really hear what's happening, but it's a gem, trust me. TCU Pepito is here. So welcome, sir. Yes, Diana Fisher says Melbourne is on lockdown. So, Tommy, we were talking, well, let's talk about this. And I know this is kind of like the standard cruise chat experience, but I feel like you are full of knowledge, especially, you know, not just in terms of the cruise experience, but the ports, right? Let's talk about some of your favorite ports and why. I know St. Thomas is one, right? Yeah. I mean, you know, am I knowledgeable? It's what you're most knowledgeable at the stuff you absolutely love. You become obsessed with something, you're going to have a little knowledge about it. So it's no, you know, yeah, St. Thomas is my number one, I have to say. It's just, it feels, for some reason, I don't know, from the first time I got there, have you had that port where you just kind of like, it feels like a second home to you the minute you see it, like a love at first sight type of thing? Yep. Yeah. So that is just, to me, it's got everything. It's got as good a beach stuff. It's got as good a beachery, if I can make up words as I usually do, as anybody does. The drinking scene is great. It's got a city center. You know, it's got like I'm not the biggest private island guy. I'm not the biggest, the cruise owned private island guy. I like to actually get into something where you can kind of mix the beach and the scenery with a metropolis. I heard that. I think St. Thomas does that. So that's my favorite. I also love Aruba. I'm not as experienced with Aruba, but in my research and my very, very limited exposure to Aruba, absolutely love it. There's just so much to do. I love San Juan. I cannot go to San Juan enough. The food, if you're not eating in San Juan, you're missing out. St. Martin, of course. And you know what? My underrated port is whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Falmouth, Ocho Rios, Jamaica. There's so much to do in Jamaica. You totally, seriously, you just hit like 3 of my favorites. For real. Yeah. Like, so I would swap Aruba for St. Thomas, right? So it would go Aruba and then St. Thomas. But my outlier for real, after my last cruise, which was the Sharon at Sea group cruise in October, we went to Ocho Rios, and I love that place. And where did we go? We went to the Grand Bahia Principe Resort. Mm-hmm. Hot fire. Fantastic resort. Fantastic service. It was a little sketchy getting there at first because we didn't properly plan. It was on our end, really. But definitely an outlier. And as far as St. Thomas goes, I'll mention it because we talked about it privately that we have this cruise coming up in February on the MSC Meraviglia. We were supposed to go to Cozumel, Grand Cayman, their private island, and one other place. I can't remember the other place, but that itinerary totally changed last month. And now we're going to San Juan, which is Kelly's favorite port. Mm-hmm. But it gets in San Juan at noon and leaves at 1, right?
Oh, okay.
Or wait, I'm sorry. It gets there at 5 and leaves at 1.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I don't know. But then it goes to Nassau, and then it goes to their private island. But it also has a stop in St. Thomas. So I'm kind of weighing my options here because the St. Thomas stop again is like from noon to 4 or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's a quick run. First of all, I'll say, not everybody's going to agree with everything. Everybody. I got a couple of rules, golden rules. You never tell anybody how to cruise, period. Don't ever tell anybody how to cruise. Let their experience be their experience. Or you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. Why would you do this when you could? Shut up. You cruise how you want to cruise.
Well said.
My St. Thomas is a good,
super awesome comment.
I want my St. Thomas at night. I want my St. Thomas. I want to cruise in there.
Okay.
Mid-afternoon. One of the best sail-ins, by the way, period, is San Juan. I'm sorry, San Juan. One of the best sail-ins you could possibly have, especially since I would say rivaled only by Cuba. A brief little stint with being allowed to cruise to Cuba.
Right.
San Juan is beautiful, but then, you just have some dinner. And then, I like San Juan because it just comes alive at night. There's just so much to do at night. It just lights up at night. And that's what I'm looking for in a cruise. And then, you know what I mean? Wrap that up with a nice little pier run and you're all set.
Yeah, we've heard about that classic.
Yeah.
I've never been to a cruise port at night. So I guess I'm going to take your word for it. I trust your judgment here. So
we got a few spots we could let you know about that we can make sure you have a good time at. Definitely.
Oh, I like it. And I'll probably take you up on that. But Colin with 1L sent us a super chat. And he says, thanks for having Tommy in the coop.
I echo those sentiments. Thank you so much for having me. And can I make it weird for a second?
Sure.
All right.
We like it weird around here.
You guys, I still am a little, not nervous, anxious, you want to say, because it's just crazy because like what you guys have and what you guys have built, it's almost like, like how certain teams develop. It's almost like the right place at the right time. I don't know how, again, I'm sure a lot of you guys know how you and York got together, but what a combo, what a team you guys are. And this guy's in here every week as your like very trusted co-pilot. And you guys are having your thing, your banter, your back and forth. And it's almost like a symphony. And then I come in and try to fill those shoes. And that's a lot to take on for a fella, but I just wanted to give a shout out to York because he's obviously a beast and it's great. It's great watching you guys together. So
Doodles is definitely the perfect yin to my yang. There's no doubt about it. I to luck out like I did with him moving next door, and then I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this cruise show, and I'm like, I don't think I can do it by myself. Maybe you would want to join me, and never would have guessed. Never ever would have guessed. But thank you for that. And you know what, though? Nothing to be nervous about. As you saw already, right off the rip, the ship hit the fan, and we crashed, right? But look, we've recovered. We're back over 100 again. You know what I'm saying? I like it. And I would like to think that I'd like to thank the people for coming back because we got a lot to talk about tonight. By the way, we got another super chat. Thank you, Colin with 1L for the super chat. Much love. But we got another one from Daniel Fields. Here's a super chat for bringing in Tommy. I have been listening for years. Well, would you just look at that?
My show and your show are just bound to have a bunch of crossovers. You know what I mean? We're kind of like cruising during that same, what would you say, latitude, and we're kind of in the same trajectory. We've charted the same course, so there's going to be some crossover. Yeah. Ship show people are definitely going to get along well with the cones.
You got that right. And Can I just say, and this is for my own personal reasons. Some of my favorite live streams were when you used to go live on Facebook or wherever. I didn't care, but on Facebook where you just play some music, just yuck it up and just kind of roll with it. Some of the best. I mean, Friday evenings, I looked forward to that. But thank you for the super chat, Daniel.
It's hard. You guys are hard acts to follow. You know what I mean? These live chats. You guys, there's so much good live stuff going on out there. I like the podcast format because I just like, I don't know. I like radio. You scream into a microphone. Like I yell, I scream, I go off the cuff. I do these crazy stuff. And you know what? I'll stop it for a half hour, then I'll come back. I'll be in my underwear. I've made nobody needs to see that. So that's why I kind of go that route. But I did enjoy the lives. I did like them, but then I also found myself, you know what I mean? I live with my friend. Her name is Kay, and I would just be up in the room for a couple of hours, and then I'd stumble down the stairs, and it's just a normal day. And then she'd see that I'm absolutely smashed out of my mind, and she'd be like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? And I'm like, we had a live stream. So, you got to give the people what they want. So we had a good time, but I'll still do them, but it's not the every Friday thing.
Not as frequent.
Good to have you, John.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorites, and I missed the last one. Dang it. So anyway, Diana Fisher says, tubing down the river in Jamaica, you can't beat it. There's so much to do. Like, what is the Blue Hole? What's the other thing? The other big one?
You have a bunch of stuff. We did with the first thing. We went up to the top of Mystic Mountain. Me and CJ Pepito, Chris is here, and my buddy Stu. We went up the skylift, the chairlift, and that's absolutely horrifying. It's hard. I mean, you're sitting on a friggin' park bench, ascending into the sky with your legs dangling, barely missing these like hand-sized spiders. But you get up there, it's a gorgeous view, and then you take that alpine roller coaster up and down all around. So you have that run. You could do the blue hole diving. You could do the tubing. One of the coolest experiences that I've ever had anywhere on any cruise, and it's a trek, but the Bob Marley tour. The Bob Marley house, there's real deal Rastafarians in there, and I'm not necessarily a partaker in the weed and stuff like that, but
right.
It was just to enjoy the history. The Rastafarians, but there's some connection to his family or whatever, but they take you and you're getting an authentic tour. You see the rock stone that he wrote the songs on, and then they'll sing songs to you about lyrics that he say, and then they'll bring you into the room to show you the actual, of this single bed. They'll show you the bed, the view. And
really?
You walk around the tomb. I mean, if you want to smoke weed, they give you weed there, and you could blow it onto his casket. It was a real cool experience. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't do that stuff, but just to kind of get that real cultural experience, it was amazing. The one thing you got to say about anything Jamaica, I'll preface it, you don't want to it's not San Juan. You don't want to roll around and walk around and do your own thing. You want to get to where you're going, and that's it. You're not strolling around there. That's what I would say. Well,
it's funny you say that, Tommy, because let me address this real quick. We got a super chat from Lori DeShiel. She says, thank you, madam. Lori DeShiel was on the Sharon at Sea Travel group cruise with us. She's a good friend of ours, a good friend of mine and Kelly's. And thank you for the super chat. But we also got one from Diana Fisher. She says, I'm new to the ship show. Thanks to Tommy. Loving the vibes. Well, how about that? All I can say.
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah,
oh.
Sorry. I really wish you could see and hear what's going on, but thank you very much for the super chat. I want to check something though real quick. Hold on. Boom. Okay, yeah. So the little graphics are coming up with our names there. I just wanted to make sure. But thank you very much, Diana and Lori. Let's do this. Thank you. Super chat. Much love. But it's funny you say that about the Bob Marley tour, because when Kelly and I were going to the excursion there in Ocho Rios, we went to the cab stand. You know that cab stand that's there, the main thing where everybody's there, and we said we're going to the Grand Principe, and this lady's like, okay, $200. And I'm like, out of here. And we went back on board. I'm like, no, we're not going.
Yeah.
But, so I shouldn't say we went back on board. At first, we went back on board because they canceled our reservation, and I found out before we got to the cab stand. So we had to go back on board so I could get internet. Long story short, this lady tells me $200, and I'm coming back through again. And the Border Patrol lady's like, what are you doing? Why do you keep coming in and out? I'm like, well, that lady just tried to charge me $200 to get to the resort. She's like, what resort? And I said, the Grand Principe. She's like, oh, no. She's like, you wait right here. So we did, and she comes back. She's like, come with me. So she puts me with this guy. He's like, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a ride to my cohort, and he'll give you a ride to the resort, and he'll wait for you at the resort, right? I said, okay. So we get on this bus, and it was the Bob Marley tour bus. Okay. And so the first 10 minutes of our trip was actually the Bob Marley tour, right? And they used the word Bob Marley to mean lots of things on that tour.
Okay.
Right?
They were, yeah.
So we actually took about 1/27th of the Bob Marley tour.
Okay.
So, but we don't partake either, so.
Yeah, you gotta get up to the Mount Zion, and you go all the way. You're not like, I'll say this to anybody who wants to do it. I'll disclaim, because that's people on my show, my tangents, my disclaiming, all that stuff. I'll tell you, 6 different things. You gotta be okay with a crazy cab ride. Like, it's a rough ride. The ride is like through a lot of winding roads. A lot of it's dirt. The young lady Beatrix I was with, she was grabbing my arm and like digging her knee. She was horrified. I was scared too. It was scary. Plus it's it's, if there's a little bit of weather going on, it's terrifying. So I will say that it is a good hour-and-a-half ride up there. To me, it was absolutely worth it, but consider that if you want to do that. But then also we left out the signature excursion for Jamaica, which is Dun River Falls as well.
That was the one I was thinking. Haven't done either. I've heard that the Blue Hole is a little cliche or crowded, maybe a little bit.
Okay,
but I still want to check it out.
Blue Hole?
Yeah,
that's the dive.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen some people do it. They seem to enjoy it, and then you can combo a lot, which I love too. With Jamaica, they do a lot of those combos. You know what I mean? You could do the Blue Hole, and you could do the white water rafting,
double whammy niner type deal. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Paul Atta says that San Juan at night is the bomb. So does Lindy Lou. Lost my ATM card in San Juan, says Daniel Fields. Ooh.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. Absolutely.
Party on the Sea. Can't wait to get to St. Thomas. Trust me, you'll love it. Let's see. Uh-oh. We jumped. The chat jumps every now and then, Tommy.
I've heard you say that. And what does that mean? That means just you miss a bunch of them and it kind of...
Yeah, you'll be scrolling down and then all of a sudden, boom. Okay. But Flamingo Pam, it goes down to the bottom. Flamingo Pam says, Tommy, my dad used to say he had a face for radio. Well, Howard Stern says that a lot too. Can Tommy do a Casey?
I do podcasts. I mean, I'm on podcasts. You know what I mean? I was so happy that John had me on, but yeah.
Paul Atta wants to know if you can do a Casey Kasem long distance dedication. I don't know if you know who Casey Kasem is. I'm sure you do. I'm Casey Kasem.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
You want me to do somebody's dog dying after this upbeat number?
Oh, the blooper. Yes, the blooper reel. Yes, that was hysterical.
I'm so sick of this. How am I supposed to do a long-distance dedication of someone's freaking dog dying after this upbeat number?
And then I come right back in, and I'm perfectly calm.
That's right. See, you did it. St. Thomas is awesome since Timothy Walters. Let's see. Didn't like Dun River Falls, but did like the Green Grotto Cave, says Trevor Bagaaaaaaak.
I trust Trevor.
Tiffany Longino says, TCU Pepito, you should try and sell them your socks for $150. I'm sure this is a joke because York has been promising to send TCU Pepito the socks he won the ship show sucks and they're still not there.
You're getting a couple of people trying to talk about my incident in Nassau, Bahamas, where I ended up underneath a Jeep or on a moped.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's go to it right now. Let's hear about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's pretty much it. I was, weirdly enough, ironically.
Wait. It's not just it. Let's take it back a minute. So
Okay.
it started in Nassau, right? And
yeah.
And what were the plans?
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, this was my first and only so far solo cruise. And I had just had an employment situation, and I'll do that. Like, that's my first go-to. If there's something where I'm changing jobs or I'm changing, geographic locations, I'll be like, okay, what could I sneak in? What can I squeeze in? And obviously, you can't necessarily grab. So, but I did. I jumped on out of New York on a 7-day breakaway cruise. And, one of them was Nassau. And I was just kind of walking around. I was seeing the sights, and I ended up at one of those moped stations. The day was going mostly fine. It was going fine. I was scooting around over bridges, 2 beaches, enjoying it. There wasn't any issues. But at one point, I tried to make a left into 2 lanes of oncoming traffic, but I was passing. Everything was going to be fine, but if I would have just stopped at the divider, it would have been fine. But instead of stopping, it kicked in, and we made eye contact in the Jeep. She was in the Jeep. I was on the moped, and I couldn't stop. It didn't stop, and I into the side of her Jeep. I hit the side of her Jeep, and I
remember this podcast.
I actually thought I was going to get helicoptered off the island because I watched my leg under the tire, and it changed shapes. Like, my leg was freaking dented in, and I was laid out on the floor. There was blood. There was shoes that were ripped in half. There was and I was like, everybody got out of their cars, like, do not move, don't move. Oh my God, they called the police, everything. And I'm laid out on a solo cruise by myself.
This sounds so like me.
Yeah, in Nassau, spread out. And I was like, here's the deal. I know I'm probably in shock and I'm probably mangled, but I'm going to try to get up. Everybody's like, no, don't try to get up. I slowly got up. There was no problems getting up. And there was blood everywhere. My sneaker was just torn in half, and my skin through the sneaker was torn in my forefoot. But then I did a little jump up and down, and then I knew it was like nothing structural. Something was looking out for me. There was nothing structurally destroyed, and that was it. So I was able to get a cab back to the ship, clean myself up, and it was all right. The sneakers didn't make it, and it was a couple of weeks of recovery. But yeah, listen. Mopeds at your own risk in Nassau. I'll say that.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I believe you. Lindy Lou says, I have to go solo, but know I can do it now thanks to this wonderful cruise community. I love you all so much. And Lindy Lou, you're right about that. And I think it's appropriate to touch on that because we've talked about the cones kind of meshing with the coupe, right? And at the end of the day, when I watch social media these days and I see everybody fighting, one thing I know for sure, there's a few, but for the most part, despite all the political differences that everyone has, when it comes to the actual cruise community, we are absolutely just that. And Lindy Lou is case in point for that statement because we've got this Vegas meetup coming up in September with Sharon at Sea. And Lindy Lou is staying at a hotel there with another member of the coupe, right? That she met in the cruise community. Yep. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you said, kind of like when we had the meeting last night. I don't mind telling people, we had a pre-production meeting. We're professionals around here.
It was grueling. It was a grueling meeting. I got to tell you, if you're ever going to appear on the ship show, there is a 5.5-hour interview process. And John really grills you and really makes sure that you got your act together before you go on a show. And I respect that.
Well, I mean, but we, the reason it comes so naturally is because we are part of that community. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, I mean, it sounds cliche, but we are truly a family. And I learned that very quickly on the group cruise that I went on with Sharon at Sea Travel. All the people there are now lifelong friends of mine, and there was no work involved. Yeah. It just happened. You didn't have to do the introductions. It just came naturally because we've virtually met.
Exactly. And that surprise you did, that was legendary. That was, that was historic.
Lindy Lou says, I can't wait to meet you, my singing John. I can't wait to meet you either, Lindy Lou. Yeah. That's for you, baby. You know what? That surprise was fun. And it's funny, too, because the most innocent person in that whole surprise was Wanda Perlman. And Wanda Perlman was my alter ego that I made up in the chat so that I could see what was going on that group cruise, right? That Wanda Perlman was the alter ego I made up. She's innocent in all this, but for whatever reason, Sharon at Sea Travels has banned her from their YouTube channel. And, you know, I'm filing a grievance on her behalf. But I do want to mention, hey, Cruise Tips TV is in the house. Welcome. Thank you for joining the ship show. Tommy is here with us. He's our guest. Say hi to...
Welcome, Sherry. Welcome, Cruise Tips TV. Sherry, Mr. Cruise Tips TV, junior editor. They do it right over there. They do it right over there.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. And you've chatted with her before?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining the ship show. So guys, I'm about to switch it up on you. Here's what I'm going to do. And I have more questions for you, and I'm hoping to see more questions in the chat. But Tommy, I'm going to give out a phone number. Okay?
Okay.
And people that are watching right now can call this number that I'm going to cancel after this is over. Cruise Tips TV says, hi, boys. Hugs from sunny California. Oh, the cruise jumped. There we go. Let's get our butts back on cruises, she says. Absolutely. 100%. But I'm going to drop a number here where if you have a question only, you can call in as long as my phone works, and we'll get either myself or Tommy to answer it. But first of all, Tommy, we got a super chat from Nautical Nurse Nancy, who was live last night. She goes live on Tuesdays when she can. So thank you. She says, this community is awesome. I just never get enough of hanging out together with fellow cruisers. Well, by God, Nancy, we feel the same. Nancy was a guest on the show last week in studio, for crying out loud.
Saw that.
And she was on the group cruise I was mentioning, and it was fantastic. Like, no effort at all to just... We were friends immediately. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It was perfect. But Nancy, this is for you. I just want to tell you. You know me, I get all proud when I do a new graphic, so I have to play it over and over again. So
I can't wait to see these on the run back.
Yeah, thanks, Nancy, for the super chat. And you are absolutely right. So it's Liz's home phone number, says Paul Atta. Yes, it is Liz's home phone number, but I will be deleting this number if anybody tries to become uncouth or otherwise untoward. But here you go. Here's the phone number. Write it down. Caller number 10, you will win a free cruise that was scheduled this month. The number is 616-987 0264. Once again, y'all, I'll say it again. And Liz, if you want to type it in the comments, that's fine, because I'm gonna get rid of this number. It is 616-987 0264. Now, if you have a question, call us, ask us. But like I said before, I will ask you to identify yourself. The first thing I need to hear from you is you to identify yourself. All right. Let's see if we get any calls, Tommy. You think we'll get any?
I think so. I see a lot of questions being directed at me, but to your credit, you got a lively chat and it goes fast. So, I do.
Well, go ahead, take it.
No, I see somebody asking what PCB is. And it's kind of like we have, like your show, we have a lot of nuanced stuff, some inside jokes and things like that. Pure Cruise Bliss. Pure Cruise Bliss is what PCB is. Did you hit PCB When are you at PCB? Because I think we can all relate to that time when you're on a cruise and everything is going just right. Whether it's that right drink in your hand, whether that right circle around the people, that sun is in just that right spot, the right song comes on, and you're feeling basically just weightless in all ways and shapes and forms. And it's just, you know what? Right now, I got it. You're having a good time the whole time. You're enjoying your entire journey, your entire trip. But when that pure cruise bliss sets in, it's unmistakable, and you all know about it. And we give it a name to it. We call it PCB. Yep, I'm at PCB right now. So that's what somebody asked, and there was another one. I'm not sure what it was.
Well, that explains it. We got 2 phone calls while you were answering, and I didn't want to answer because I didn't want that to be. But for those of you, we got 2 voicemails. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can call them back. Here we go. We're getting calls out the wazoo, Tommy.
Sorry.
No, I like it. I love it. Let's see, because I want to hear if people have questions. Let's hear. We're calling whoever just called us.
There's always a roll of the dice when you do this, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is. How funny is it that I'm making a call on our show and they're not answering? Yeah. That is so perfect. Oh, well. Call us back, buddy.
Phone lines are wide open.
Caller number 10, you will win. Anyway. But, so, future cruises, Tommy, what do you got?
Right now, I'm booked on 2 cruises that they're not going anywhere. Who are we kidding? I got a cruise booked on October 5th to it's a beautiful itinerary on the Celebrity Equinox, and it's going to all those Southern Caribbean, the Barbados, St. Lucia. It's got like 5 St. Kitts I've never been to. I'm able to check off 3 or 4 islands that I've never been to on this one, but yeah, it's not sailing. It's actually already canceled. And then we had our group cruise, which was November 7th on the Carnival Magic. Yep. 7-day run. I don't have a lot of high hopes for that one either, but other than that, we'll see. That's what somebody else asked. Somebody else asked, what ship do you want to go on next, mostly? And really, when I go to book a cruise, I don't necessarily go to book for any particular ship. The right combination at that time of what ship I'm looking for, what itinerary, what price, what departure port. So I don't necessarily always do it ship driven, but if you're going to pin me down to ships, the 2 ships that I want to be on next are...
Oh, wait a minute. I wish I had a drum roll. Okay.
The Odyssey of the Seas.
Yep.
I just like the way I've never been on a quantum class ship, weirdly enough. And I just want to go kind of check out that whole, what is it, the Play It Again or a Playmaker Sports Bar that looks like it's right over the Seaplex and right kind of like it. And then the Carnival Mardi Gras, of course. You know what I mean? I want to check out the Carnival Mardi Gras. That just seems like there's going to be so much stuff. I know I'm everything. You know, I'm not just a Carnivalian. I know you're a royalist. But those are the 2 ships that I'm looking most forward to.
Well, I was booked on Odyssey of the Seas as well, actually, the inaugural sailing. But I was on the Ovation, right? So I kind of know the layout there. And by far my favorite ship. As far as... Really? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to lie. The food was straight up nasty. And I'm a royalist. I'm not going to lie. Everyone knows this. And on top of that, everyone also knows that I'm a food snob, right? So I had high hopes on this cruise that, this was our Alaskan cruise. We did it with Griff and Alyssa, and the food was terrible. But other than that, aside from a few traffic issues with people management and how the ship's laid out, everything about that ship I loved, even better than Oasis class.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard because the Oasis class, as a structural wonder, I absolutely am obsessed. But as far as the cruise experience, not my favorite. You know what I mean? One thing I like about cruising is, I used to say it when I used to run bars and restaurants, and I still kind of do, and DJ, whatever, you want an electrical charge. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that electrical charge gets hit throughout everybody. And when it is too spread out and there's too much going on, there's too many different rooms, you can't really vibe like that. You know, you see some people, one of my favorite things is to meet people on cruises. You see somebody on day 2, you don't see him again till day 7. So for that reason, Oasis, I love. Will always be impressed with it and would take an Oasis class at the right price at the right ports tomorrow. But, you know, I'm with you on that.
So somebody called and I had them on hold while you were talking and then they hung up. But we're getting lots and lots of calls. And
all right, I'll be quiet. Let me be quiet.
It's definitely not that. It's just when you how do I put it?
Tangent is the word. Tangent.
There we go. Well, there's something wrong. When I hit the button, it says, press 1 to accept. Do we have someone on the line here? Who is this? Identify yourself. Oh, I'm hearing Paul. I hear Paul. But he's not hearing, Paul is not hearing us for whatever reason. Oh, wait, there we go. Paul, can you hear us?
Caller.
Hey, how you doing?
There he is. Is that Mr. Paul Atta?
Yeah, I had to pedal faster so you could hear me.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. The phone's blowing up over here. I'm getting calls from Michigan, from Canada, from everywhere. So do you have a question, Sir Paul?
I did. I asked it in the chat earlier, but with everything that's going on, it was missed. Out of all the Tommy, how you doing? Out of
hey, Paul, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Out of all the ships you've been on, the big contention for me are good elevators. What's your favorite set of elevators on any ship?
What a great question.
Favorite set of elevators, and along with my favorite ship, is great news for you, Paul. Great news for you. My favorite ship of all time is the Carnival Splendor. And the elevators go right along with that. I got to tell you, on those elevators, they never skip a floor. If you push that button, it's going to go right to that floor. You know what I mean? It's not going to stop. It's not going to skip the floor. It gets you where you need to be. And, you know, that's all you can. They go straight up and down. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. The elevators in the Carnival Splendor are absolutely beautiful, especially those ones that are in the main lobby where they're glass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Paul, I'll go ahead and answer that question too. Carnival Horizon. I love the way it was set up. And I'm not a Carnivalian. I've only been on one Carnival cruise, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I had a great time, except for in the main dining room, which, you know, I'm a food snob. But the chef's table was the best meal I've ever had at sea. But the elevator situation on the Horizon was like you pre-programmed it, right? So you said, hey, I'm doing this. But, hey, let's take this call. So Carnival Horizon, we got another one from Canada.
Call from
Trevor.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Hello?
Hello.
Do we have Mr. Bagaaaaaaak on the line? Trevor B. Gockler, is that who it is?
Mr. Bagaaaaaaak is on the line.
I can picture you right now with a cigar, shirtless, and a nice, healthy pour of Malort.
Well, I'm drinking Knob Creek, but yes, I do have a cigar, and yes, I am sure.
Oh,
I can say this too. Whatever the question is, the answer is going to be White Castle.
So, Mr. Bagaaaaaaak, what's your question?
My question is for Tommy. What is it going to take to get you to come on the ship show and Sharon at Sea October 2021 group cruise out of Bermuda?
Out of Bermuda?
No, out of New York to Bermuda. Sorry.
Okay, tell me. So this is October out of New York, going to Bermuda. What ship?
The Breakaway.
Breakaway in 2021.
Okay. And this was actually the itinerary that was picked, huh? Have you seen those North Atlantic seas in October?
Ooh.
No, I don't care.
No. Elaborate. Would you care to elaborate?
Well, it could be it's a crapshoot. You know what I mean? Anytime, you're sailing out of New York City in those where it starts to cool off a little bit, it can get interesting. But how about this? How about, I'll go on that cruise. I mean, why not? Right?
What?
Let's do it.
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
All right. So now, okay, let's do 85 to 90% right now.
Oh, I'm going to do a
that.
breaking news.
You too.
We have breaking news, folks. Tommy Casabona has just announced on the Ship Show Live that he is 95% sure that he's going on the October 2021 group cruise with Sharon at Sea Travel and the Ship Show, for heaven's sake. Listen.
Yeah, pending a temperature check and physical, you know what I mean? And a plane to be named later. We'll see what happens.
I hear you. And it'll be my first Norwegian cruise, my first cruise out of New York, and our first cruise to Bermuda. And here's another thing. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me take this call. All right, there we go. Hello?
To accept, press 1.
I have
To
to
send a
press 1.
voicemail, press...
Hello?
Hello.
Who do we have here?
It's Pam.
Oh, it's Flamingo Pam. Welcome to the Ship Show. So, Tommy, it's also what was I going to? Oh, York has a nephew or a cousin or an uncle or somebody in New York City downtown that owns a bar that we could take the top side of. So we're going to have a big pre-cruise party downtown New York City. So that ought to be pretty cool too. So.
Well, that.
Oh,
place,
yeah.
If you don't mind, correction, we're talking uptown, Upper East Side.
Okay.
I think what he said was, I believe it was a place called Ryan's Daughter, and I literally worked a half a block away from that place.
So
I'm familiar with it. Yeah,
you know what's up.
Yeah, and there's no shortages. We can do. You know what? That's one night, and we can do. If you want to get there a week early, I could set us up at about six.
Yeah, I'll bet you could. Cool, because we're going to be there early. We are going to be there early, without a doubt. My wife really wants to get there. So, do you have a question for us?
Yes, Tommy, I'm wondering what got you hooked on cruising?
Oh, just basically when I was, again, doing the job that I do, we had a staff outing one night. I'll keep this brief because my listeners have heard it 100 times, but
we haven't, so you don't need to keep it brief.
Okay, we did it. We did a staff outing, and then it was a place called the Frying Pan, and this place is basically a sailboat that just stays docked, and it's a bar in New York City that's off the side. My assistant general manager said to me, Tommy, all I need is a week off in April. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going on a cruise. I've never been on a cruise. Sounds good. Sounds fun, whatever, but we're at this place, the Frying Pan, and we got there at like 10 a.m. We're drinking. It's about noon, still drinking. It's about 2, 3 o'clock. We're all feeling pretty good right now. And now my assistant general manager says to me, that's what I want to go on. And then I turn around and then I see this thing approaching, and it is this monstrous beast of fun. I mean, the music is cranking. I could see that everybody, they have their rooms. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So where's that going? And he's like, that's probably Bahamas, San Juan, whatever. I'm like, and that thing is as fun as it is. And that's just the mode of transportation. I'm going to go on one of those too. And then I went on one, and the rest was absolutely history.
Yeah. No,
I know.
I think there's a lot of people who have similar stories to you, Tommy. And Pam, thank you so much for the question, and we'll talk soon. You know what I'm talking about.
All right. I do.
Thank you. But so to answer her question as well, for me, my wife was like, hey, let's do this Disney cruise. And I was like, I don't really like the cruise thing because they drop you off in the port and you only have like 6 hours, and there's people everywhere and you're probably stepping all over each other. I don't know. Let's just go to Florida. She's like, okay, how about we do a 4-day Disney cruise, and then we do a 3-day, time spent in Florida, in Orlando. I said, okay, fine. That'll work. And we took the in-laws. Imagine that. Okay, because that could have been, the thing that shut it all down.
That'll test you.
But holy moly. And I probably had a lot to do, because I'm not going to lie, Disney cruises are great, right? But I've had just as much fun on Carnival cruises too. But I was hooked. And The minute when we were flying back from that cruise, there was a man in line in front of me with his daughter who had just gotten off the Allure of the season. He's like, oh boy, it was amazing. And we started talking. I'm like, what's up with the kids club? How does that work? You know? And he's like, oh, it was amazing. My daughter loved it. She was there every day. And then our next cruise was Allure of the Seas. And, you know, like you said, the rest is history. But Nikki and Rich have a comment. They said, is anyone doing a Halloween group cruise? Well, I can tell you, I can answer that question, and that would be us. Sharon at Sea Travel and the Ship Show are doing October 24 through 31, 2021, out of New York City, Norwegian breakaway to Bermuda. And we've got some fun things planned. Like there's probably going to be a fishing charter, all kinds of crazy stuff, like maybe stuff that you've never done before in the port. So I don't know. I think it's going to be, a lot of fun.
Great ship too. Great class of ships.
See, I've never been on Norwegian, but I've heard the stories of all the different venues on board with the ice bar and all the other stuff. Although I've heard that's a little overrated, but
I'll say one thing, overrated, not overrated. So one negative amongst all the positives on that ship and that class of ships, the elevator situation. There's a little bit of, I think there's two banks pretty much for the most part. So there's the one complaint I have about that ship is a little bit of congestion around the elevators, but it's a blast. I mean, there's a thing on that ship called Spice H2O. And during the day, it's kind of like just hang out, you know.
Spice H2O. Okay.
Yeah. And then at night, I've done my share of cruising, had my share of parties on cruises, and they light it up. They absolutely do a tremendous job of throwing theme parties on the back of the ship every single night, and it's an absolute blast.
And I've heard the food's really good.
Yeah, the food's good. I mean, you know, for you, maybe steer clear of the main dining room, but the specialty restaurants are good.
Really? See, I've heard that the main dining room's better than Royal.
I guess, yeah, you get into it. I guess it's going to be subjective.
I'm pretty picky, though. Everybody knows that. So
I will say it could be because the specialty restaurant, I mean, the main dining room on the newer ships, breakaway and above class ships are pretty good. I don't know, maybe some of the listeners, maybe you guys or the viewers can weigh in. Norwegian, the main dining room, and I think it was kind of like by design a lot of ways because they were the whole inventors of the whole freestyle thing with all those specialty dining. So it's almost like they wanted to steer you towards the specialty and maybe, you know, take a little off for the main dining room so you can maybe spend the money on the Brazilian steakhouse is phenomenal.
Well, we got a couple super chats, Tommy. Daniel Fields, he says, Tommy, get on the October 21 cruise. We are there. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the super chat. I always try and give the people something when they super chat. So let's give them the eggplant, the flying eggplant. If you look at your screen in about 5 seconds, you'll see the glory of the flying eggplant. Thank you, Daniel Dancy. It was probably from both of them. Christopher Brown donated $2. He says, have a good evening, everyone. Thank you. Hey, Chris, we need to talk because I need another shipment. Actually, 2 bottles. We'll talk about it. Chris is my guy who hooks me up with the scent in my home. Long story. We won't bore you here, but Chris, we'll talk tomorrow. I've got to place an order. Amy Franzak says, how were the sardines? They were fantastic. I ate them with some Ritz crackers in hot sauce. Tommy, are you a sardines fan? Will you eat sardines out of the can?
I don't think I've ever been within 15 feet of a sardine. I'm not sure. I'm not saying I wouldn't try it. Some level of slobbability, you know what I mean? I am very, very creative when it comes to the buffet, and I can kind of put together some very, very, appealing dishes for very eclectic dishes.
Yeah, I've seen. Mixed. And you have a Facebook group. You have a Facebook group dedicated to cruise food, right?
Well, food in general. It was more of just I have a couple of offshoot groups where, you have this mega loft if you're a super cone. I also have the gym and spa, which, once a month I decide I'm going to get fit. Once a year, 1 month out of the year, I decide to get fit.
Yeah.
And then
I'm in that month right now.
It seemed like everybody's kind of getting into this, quarantine. It turned everybody into a chef. So why not share the pictures and see what everybody's doing in the kitchen?
I got to tell you, I was freaking honored when I made the cover page of that group for a week.
That was it's tough because you want to please everybody, but yeah, it was well deserved. You had a couple up there before that could have been up there too, but
yeah,
it's like, you can't win. You know what I mean? You can't win that battle.
Right. So we have another call. I'm guessing I know who this is, and I'll bet the initials are NNN. But who do we got on the line?
Bagaaaaaaaaak, hey, you guys, it is me.
We do have last week's guest, Nautical Nurse Nancy, on the phone. Tommy, you know who Naughty Nurse Nancy is, don't you?
I do. And if I could say at the top, last week, you very, very eloquently, as Doodle said, blew the surprise. But you gave such a nice introduction, and I appreciated that very, very much. But Nancy's reaction was really kind of like why you do what you do. It was, I mean, being sincere, it was very humbling, and the reaction that you gave when he announced that really kind of made me feel very, very good.
Yeah, I did blow that announcement,
Excellent.
didn't I? I was like, okay, here we are in the vortex, right? And I played, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting here, Naomi, you sit over here, and Nancy, you sit over here. And by the way, Coop, I figured out why. It's because I adjusted a setting earlier in the day in my software, which I've since fixed. But it's still, that was a great live stream. So, Nancy, do you have a question for us?
I do, yes, because I am a Conehead too. So Tommy, definitely a fan. So wanted to ask you, what is your average sleeping time when you are on a cruise, and do you have any pointers as we go for how to?
That's a great question.
Fun as we go.
So Nancy, thanks for the question. I'm gonna hang up, but everybody, do me a favor.
Thank you.
Check out Naughty Nurse Nancy, Nautical Nurse Nancy. She totally got dressed up for this, so we think. But she's been crushing it on YouTube with her Cancun trip vlog, so check her out. Give her a subscribe. My goodness, sorry, Nancy. Hit the thumbs up. And thanks for calling, girl. And hey, listen, two things. I'm going to hold you to it. You said you're going to come back across the lake. I expect you to do that. And also ask Anthony how my footage is coming.
All right, will do, and he'll be texting you soon. All right.
Thanks for the question. So what do you got? What do you got for us, Tommy?
How much do I sleep and how to get more sleep? That is probably one of the biggest things. That's probably one of the biggest concerns you have on a cruise, because I have that FOMO. You know what I mean? You don't want to miss anything on these cruises.
Nope.
So I don't want to miss the sunrises, but I also don't want to miss what's going on at 3 a.m. either. So it's just get it when you can get it. You know what I mean? We do, and it's different every time.
Are you a napper?
I was going to say, that's one of my other rules of thumb, is never try to predict a cruise. Never try to in advance predetermine what your cruise is actually going to be.
Great advice.
Man plans and the cruise gods laugh is what it is. So it's like I would try to get
so
a good
well said.
I would try to get 6-7 hours if possible. Usually it doesn't happen. There was one cruise we were in that rhythm, 4 or 5 hours at night, and then we would start in the afternoon, and then we would make it a point to crash between, let's say, 7 and 9 p.m. and then get back at it. That only happened once, where we were able to kind of keep that rhythm going. But it does help. The level I drink on cruises does help passing out. Then it's just a matter of staying asleep. And then, usually my rhythm is pass out at around 2-3 o'clock, wake up at around 5 or 6, get the sun setting, get some pictures of sunrise, and then crash back again till maybe 10.
Okay. Hey, that's not a bad schedule. And I find that I do well for one, like you said, I don't plan things, but when I'm on a cruise, I'm definitely getting up for the sunrise. And, I don't know. I'll catch my naps when I can, but I'm usually so hyped up that naps are unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? But I have taken naps before. I've taken a nap and then all of a sudden woken up in a tuxedo, for heaven's sakes.
Wow. The trick to not napping and keeping going is kind of limiting your food, because the food is going to pull you down a little bit. But that's such a double-edged sword, because it's hard to, because you just have all this food at your disposal that's free.
Yeah, I know. It's weird too because when I'm cruising, like I'm kind of holding out on the food front because I know there's a big meal coming, right? So I don't usually like snack during the day because I'm like, ooh, we got a big meal coming up and I'm about to smash. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like I kind of hold off, but we got another super chat from Paul Atta. He says, John's picky as he opens more canned food. Tommy, there's a running joke in the coop about some of the canned foods I eat. I'll eat some.
When you put that in the kitchen sometimes, a quarantine kitchen with the what is it? The
tamales. Yeah.
Yeah.
People tend to get triggered by that food. But hey, listen, I know I'm a food snob, but I do eat some weird stuff too. I'll eat some tamales out of a can, for heaven's sakes. I don't care. So if you got another question, give us a call. Otherwise, that's okay too. Ask us in the chat. Kevin Brubaker says, #filling the void. That's right. That's I do like to eat fine dining and I like to, savor the food, but sometimes he's right. Sometimes you just got to fill the void.
John, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I know a lot of people probably know this, but maybe there's some people who don't, especially the ones that kind of came in from the Always Be Book side. But like, you clearly have a level of expertise at editing that is on a different level. Did you jump right into that with cruising, or were you doing some sort of vlogging? And I guess it's sort of like a question you asked me, how did I get going with it? You said you got that Disney cruise was the first one, but had you ever vlogged before that?
No, no, I hadn't. So we did the Disney cruise, right? And I had so much fun. And then I started finding on YouTube that you could like see ship tours, right? So Stella was the one who actually turned me on to this because she's like, Dad, I want to do Allure of the Seas. And I'm like, how do you know? Like, what do you know? Like, how do you know? At that time, she was probably like 5. And she's
awesome.
like,
the force is strong with that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Noah has it down to the ship.
Right. And so I'm like, how do you know this? And she's like, well, watch this video. And so so we watched the video, and then all of a sudden I realized there was bloggers out there, right? Like, and I started following, and it's funny too, Tommy, because there's people that I followed that are still out there today and I can't, I wish I could say their names. I can't remember their names right now, but they inspired me. And this was before I knew Sharon and C, Lalita Loca, Cruise Tips TV. Well, I knew Cruise Tips TV first, probably. But, these vloggers, oh, man, I wish I could remember their names. But there were
sisters, whatever. Is it Cruise Sisters?
No, there was quite a few of them, though, that and it was so funny to me because I watched their vlogs and I was like so inspired and I'm thinking, oh, I can do this, right? So yeah. We went on Allure of the Seas and I bought myself one of those $40 GoPros that you see on Amazon. You know what I'm talking about? The knockoffs.
I don't actually, but I'm sure knockoffs. There's knockoffs for everything, so I'm sure they're out there.
You can't take them underwater without a case, right? So that's how it works. So you take them and you film, and the sound quality's crap, and I'm like, I'm gonna vlog this cruise because I just watched a vlog from these people that I like, right? And a 7-day cruise turned into a 2 vlog thing. Right. Allure of the Seas vlogs were 2 vlogs. And, the highlights of both of those vlogs were chicken sightings in the 2 places. And Griffin and Alyssa are in the house. Welcome. I think they're coming at us live and direct from Aruba. So thank you.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Blue Streak Aviation is here as well. YouTube's acting drunk. But anyway, and I don't want to go too long on this, but I did those vlogs, and then we came back from that trip, and that's when York moved in, right? So I started using that GoPro, and we would go to the beach, and we would go to the amusement park here locally, and so I decided to upgrade my camera because I started watching more and more and more videos, and that's when I discovered Griffin and Alyssa, right? And I've said it a million times, but people ask me, what was your inspiration? And I can tell you right now. At that moment, the first person I found Cruise Tips TV, right? Because it was all their informational videos and stuff. But
yeah,
then I found, after I started realizing there were vloggers out there, I found Griff and Alyssa. And when I saw the quality of what was happening over there, I don't know, something lit a spark. And that was, I didn't have any training. To answer your question, I studied their videos and I watched them over and over and over again. And I kind of, I don't know. It's hard to explain. And I'm still, every time I watch one of their videos, I'm learning from them. So
yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, it's awesome. But it's kind of surreal to me, Tommy, when people tell me, oh well, we like your editing. It's just it doesn't. It's hard to compute. Yeah, and I love it, and that's one thing I miss most about you. Of course, we miss cruising most of all.
Yeah,
but it was always seemed like you know what I mean. Like you probably can agree with this sentiment that, okay, you're obviously not cruising more than a few times a year. Someone or someone that's good at making the vlogs is probably at sea somewhere at a given time, and you can kind of live vicariously through them through the vlogs.
Yes,
and that sucks that's not happening now too,
Yeah, and you're right, man. You're so right, because there was always somebody going on a cruise, right? And you could watch their vlogs and kind of keep up, and even on Facebook with the cruise community, like we talk about, like you could just follow along and you almost felt like you were on the cruise.
Yeah.
And now here we are in this space, and I've actually found myself as a creator, like realizing, wow, I've only got a few more, hours of footage left from my last cruise. That's my MO. I'm a little slow to get them out, but
yeah,
I find myself like holding out because I'm afraid, which last week I gave Anthony Plack my hard drive from Harmony of the Seas because I lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to recover it. But speaking of Harmony of the Seas, did you notice my shirt? Team Bing Bong. Bing Bong is the cruise director on Harmony of the Seas.
Oh.
And, we're hoping to have him as a guest real soon. But
let's go, Bing Bong. Get out there. Come on. You want to be, this is the show you want to be on. Let's go.
But Bing Bong brought us on the Royal Caribbean morning show. You know how they do the morning show with the cruise director every day? Have you done Royal? We know this, but you've done it, right, Tommy?
Royal, the Harmony?
No, just any Royal cruise ship.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how they do the morning show on, maybe you don't know this, but...
Yeah. I think most of the lines do that, right?
Yeah. So, they do? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think there's always a morning show.
Okay. Well, they brought us on their show. York and I were on the Harmony of the Seas morning show with our ship show shirts on.
Oh, that's amazing.
And, and York actually does business with him outside of the cruise world. And so, anyway, I've got my Team Bing Bong shirt in on.
Oh, yeah.
In support of him.
He's got to come on, right?
We'd like to have him on, but I'm sure it's difficult for him to
Caller.
Oh, we got a call from Reno, Nevada. Let's take it. Let's see who it is. Who do we have on the line here?
This is Lindy Lou.
Oh, my goodness. It's Lindy Lou. Hallelujah. It's Lindy Lou. Hallelujah. How are you doing, my Lindy Lou?
Oh, my John boy, I'm so happy to talk to you.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to meet you in Vegas.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait either. I can't wait to meet everybody.
Yeah, it's going to...
Man, no sleeping those days at all.
Well, all I know is that there's been conversations with Jamie and myself where we're trying to strategize. We have to be careful. A day in Vegas, right, where we have a meetup from 7 a.m. till whenever could quickly go awry if we don't maintain some modicum of sensibility during the day, right? So we have to be smart. but I think we can do it. Do you have a question for us, Lindy Lou?
I would like to ask Tommy, how many different cruise lines has he been on?
Great question.
Great question. I am a strictly big three guy. So I've only been on Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Carnival, except for 2 cruises. That
I know one you
on.
did.
Yeah, with the AstroTurf, right?
Yes.
I noticed you were eyeing that AstroTurf. You were, yeah. So Bahama Paradise Cruise Line. Listen, I'll be honest with you. You got Bahama Paradise Cruise Line. They're 2-day cruises out of West Palm Beach, Florida, that go over to the Bahamas. Then they come back. They're an old Carnival ship and an old Costa ship. And yeah, you just got to be a real cruise junkie to get on those things. You know what? You got to take your days and see any way you can get them. And if there's something going out that day,
wow,
fix your schedule. That's why but other than that, it's just the big 3.
Hey, by the way, great question, Lindy Lou, and thanks for calling in. I can't wait to meet you in 30 days because that's the countdown.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Goodbye,
I will be there.
Lindy Lou. Yeah.
Thank
you. Sorry, Tommy. She loves it when I sing, so I got to sing for the girl.
Please.
But I'm noticing you're drinking.
More singing.
I noticed you're drinking a local Michigan beer, all day IPA.
Is that what that is?
That's made here locally. Yep. York would be so proud of you. That's made 15 minutes from our house.
Is there? I'm recent to the IPA craze. I am usually throughout most of my career, Miller Lite and bang down shots of Jim Beam. Now I'm getting into the IPAs. Would you agree that that's a high level of drinkability?
Oh yeah, beer? and they actually make a light one now. It's called I forget what it's called, but it's like half the calories and it's even easier to drink. It's like a slammer.
Gotcha. Okay.
But Tess Almon says, I was on Harmony of the Seas in January, had a good time with 25 friends, but it wasn't my kind of ship. Crew nor passengers were really very friendly, had a hard time finding fun at night. Okay, Tess, I've been on 2 Oasis class ships, right? The first one I did was Allure of the Seas, and don't get me wrong, we loved that cruise, and we talked about those vlogs. If you guys want to really get a look back on where it all started, you check out the Allure of the Seas vlogs. They're quite bad and almost funny because they're so bad. But the service at that point, I didn't have a voice, right, in the cruise community. I didn't know what was good, what was bad, really. But I know now that the service on the Allure cruise was not very good. It just the staff seemed kind of jaded because there were so many people and so much stuff. And I mean, that makes sense, but on Harmony of the Seas,
I had the same feeling on the Oasis. It was and the Harmony. It was just a little bit like, you know what, these people aren't going to see me again. I'm not going to. They're probably not going to tip extra. So it was jaded. I agree with your sentiment 100% on that.
Yeah, but I you know what? I'm not going to lie. I felt that the service on Harmony was much better. Like, I don't have any complaints for our service on Harmony of the Seas, to be honest with you. I felt it was good, and we got to cruise with Doodles and Mrs. Doodles, Lisa, and it's gut-wrenching that I lost most of the footage on that, but such is the ship show life.
I have to. I want to give you another compliment that I love is that you always seem to have a last-minute forget, right? Because I live my life like that as well. There's always something and it's since for whatever reason, no matter what you think you crossed all the, T's, dotted all the I's, checked all the boxes.
Right.
There's always something and it's significant. It's not like, like a tube of toothpaste that you could buy somewhere else. It's something significant.
Like a hard drive or something like that. Yes. You're right, man. You're so right. Griff had to lend me a hard drive on our Alaskan cruise because I didn't have a hard drive. I left it on the man cave couch before I left. So
right.
You are right, Tommy. You are right. So the other thing I wanted to mention, and you don't have to touch on this if you don't want to. And again, if you guys have a question, feel free to call in. But we're going to shut it down here shortly. I wanted to touch on something that that you brought up, and again, if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool too. But the Tommy Casabona, the Always Be Booked experience, the Pirates and Pier Runners experience, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that if you're not running 20 people out of the bar, you're not doing it right. You know what I'm talking about?
Why would I not want to talk about this?
Yeah. You care to elaborate on that? Because God darn it, I totally know exactly how you feel. And when I heard you say that, I was like, well, I couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, I mean, I said it just the way we operate our bars and restaurants. It was, more bars, clubs. It's the same way we do the show. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be out here pretending we're for everybody. You know what I mean? If you are, like I said, if you want to do the bar analogy, you're going to do some stuff in there that's going to be crazy. We had a mechanical bull. We had a microphone. We had a sound system. We are going to use that as our disposal. And we are going to do some crazy stuff. And you know what? There's going to be 80% of the people that are in there with their jaws dropping, telling stories about it. You know what I mean? They're telling stories about what they saw at this crazy place. These two people ride the bull. There's, you can't, whatever. There's just crazy stuff going on. And you know what? That's going to offend some people. But the same thing that offends the 20 people that runs out of there is going to solidify loyal guests or loyal customers, loyal listeners, whatever you want to say, whoever your audience is. And that's the philosophy I've always taken to Always Be Booked. You know what I mean? We're not going to get everybody. I know damn well I get a kick out of some of the reviews. I look at the Patreon and I know when I speak on the Patreon sometimes I can hang up, I can upload it and this and that. I'm like, well, that's going to cost me $30 tonight. You know what I mean? $30 a month tonight, but we're going to do it anyway because it's the only way we know how. You know what I mean? And I see you guys doing a lot of the similar types of things over here.
And that's a big reason why we can appreciate that. For the most part, we like to keep it real in here, except for when Doodles falls down in the middle of the live stream.
That was controversial. I was going to talk about that. Is that like Fingergate? What do we call that? Because
I don't know. I think that, you know what? I think that's the perfect description. It was Fingergate. Did he fall? Concern. Did he not fall? We don't know what happened.
I know I could speak for however many hundred people were watching at that moment. We all had genuine concern for a good 20 minutes or so.
Oh my God, I was freaking out. I was a hot mess. I'll never forget that episode, and it's probably something that we'll revisit at some point. Doodles likes to laugh it off, but holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Paul Atta says service on Lake Placid was very lackluster. And when he says Lake Placid, he's talking about Doodles' boat. And when I talk about Doodles, I'm talking about the normal co-host who's sitting here. Let me get back here. Who's sitting over here, but he's not here tonight. Tonight he's in Florida. Someone asked, where is Doodles? He's in Florida on business, doing business stuff. So I was hoping he would tune in or at least call, but he's busier than a beaver with a overbite. Or no, an underbite. Sorry. So Fingergate was funny and then not, says Daniel Fields. It was worse than the Hindenburg, says Paul Atta. Kevin Brubaker says, slitting digits. I recommend a place called The Palm, my favorite restaurant in Vegas or New York. I believe that, says Garrett Labelson. I believe you 100%. Lori DeShield says, so no chef's table in Vegas, but do we have reservations to eat anywhere fancy? Yes. Do I have reservations? No. But Lori, I'm going to say it here, and I'm going to say it loud and proud, and I don't care. I don't care what happens. Friday night in Vegas, I am going all out, okay? I'm finding the restaurant that I there's going to be oysters, lots and lots of oysters. There's going to be Chilean sea bass. There's going to be tons of other appetizers involved. I guaranteed. Can't wait for that. A lot of people go to Vegas for the gambling. I'm not one of those people. Never been a big gambler. I do like to play craps. I'm not going to lie. I love to play craps, but I often lose. So the thing I do in Vegas is much like I do on the ship. Is eat, and watch the shows. But we got a call here, Tommy. One last call here. Let's take it.
Go ahead, caller.
Let's see what we got. We got to switch it over. Who do we got on the line?
Trevor Bagaaaaaaak.
We got another call from Mr. Bagaaaaaaak coming in live and direct from Canada. How's it going, sir? What's your question?
It's going good. Daniel Fields has been asking, hey, Tommy, how was the bottle service on Bahamas Paradise?
It sucks that we keep missing these comments, but thank you, Trevor. Yes.
Yeah, it was just interesting. I mean, it's almost like a lot of the cruise lines have the like the Bon Voyage package type thing where you can get a bottle for like $100 and something bucks. When you buy a bottle on Bahama Paradise Cruise Line, they just hand you a bottle, some ice, and a mixer. And then they just give it to you. That's it. So it's yours to walk around the ship with. So that's kind of what I was doing. I literally was walking around a cruise ship with an ice bucket in one hand, and I had cargo shorts on. And I know you're not supposed to wear cargo shorts anymore.
I'm glad you clarified. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And then especially, yes, high level fashion going on in the ship. I do realize that as well. And then, I just had the bottle of Stoli in my cargo shorts pocket, the pants pocket. So I kind of wore it. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily I don't like to walk around as necessarily a disaster. But sometimes when it just happens and there's really nowhere else to go with it, you just embrace it. And that's what I did. So I was just walking bottle service throughout the ship on that particular cruise line on Bahama Paradise. Shout out AstroTurf all the way.
I have to imagine that the bottle service was quite affordable, right? I mean, not like Vegas.
Yeah.
Have you been to Vegas?
Have I? Yes, okay. I have a couple of times, and just bottle service in general. You're gonna pay if you get a good deal on something decent. Grey Goose bottle, you're gonna pay $225, $250, and that's probably a good deal at any Vegas place. And then they're gonna tack on the 25% gratuity on top of that, and they're gonna try to upsell you on other stuff. So
all the different mixers and stuff.
Right. So in this regard, we were dealing with about $125. You know what I mean? And then just 20% on top of that, and you were all set to go.
Well, we got another call, Tommy. Who do we got on the line here?
Hey, it's Pam again.
It's Pam again. That sounds
Pam.
like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like a single word, Pam again. Well, you got another question for us?
Yeah, Captain's Table MDR wants to know if there is a group cruise, say 250 guests on board, do you think the cruise line should disclose that to book guests?
Wow, great controversial question.
Wait. Do I understand this correctly, Pam? He's saying if there's a huge group cruise, should the cruise line be disclosing this?
Yes, to the other book guests that are not in that group.
That is a legitimate and, quite frankly, fantastic question. It makes me want to do this, though, for real.
Super awesome comment.
What?
Who asked that question?
Captain's Table MDR.
Okay. Tommy, I'm going to let you tackle this one while I go grab a beer.
Okay. So all right, there was a cruise that happened maybe, I don't know, it was a year and a half ago. It was this business tycoon that really it was just a regular sailing, and they just booked a bunch of rooms. Now, I don't know to the level of how much they informed the cruise line that this was going to be what basically amounted to as a partial charter, right? So they didn't just come on the ship just to enjoy the ship and, mix in with everybody. They basically they brought go-go dancers, they brought entertainers, and they basically just took over the Lido deck. It was to the point where it was almost 1,000 or so people, and it got so bad that they actually started refunding guests. Like, guests were actually refunded their money because of this just takeover of this cruise. So I do think that there should be an established number as to, if there is a group cruise, because there's where you're at, right? So you have a full charter, you have a group cruise, and then you have a partial charter. So partial charters, I think, are automatically, people are made aware, but between that group cruise and that partial charter area, I think whether it's 250, whether it's 500, yes, there is a number. John, how many people do you think should be allowed on a group cruise to where the cruise line needs to let the rest of the guests know about it?
Well, so before February of this year, I would say there isn't a number. I would say suck it. But
just deal with it.
Yeah, but in the current climate, I think it might be prudent. I think it might be responsible to say, hey, because at any given time, you could have 250 people in one single spot. I get it, and it's such a fantastic question. It brings on. I'm sure there's a lot of opinions there, but I think.
Let me ask you. So you think 1,000 people is fine? Like I said, I don't know if you heard what I was saying before, but like there was an issue where Royal Caribbean actually refunded guests because 1,000 people from one company came on and they hired go-go dancers and they didn't tell them they were coming on. They just paid for the go-go dancers cruise and they were dancing on the Lido deck, and it was just a full takeover.
I remember hearing about that before. But now, I remember hearing this story before, but now I didn't hear it when you said it just now because I was getting a beer. But
yeah,
okay, for something like that, I mean, did Royal know, or did the cruise line know that they were hiring go-go dancers?
That's what I said. I don't know.
It's hard to answer that question, but I say, man, that's so tough. I guess if it's a very large group and it's over 300, maybe, yes, in a normal situation, maybe 400. I don't know what the number is there, because when we went on Harmony of the Seas, there was this large group of people that were house flippers that were on board, and they were all wearing their shirts and stuff, but we didn't have any problems with them. But in the current situation, I could see where people could get upset, and we saw it in the vlogs, like in the comments, like with the cabin crawl that we had on the Horizon of the Seas, right? There was a gaggle of people rolling through the halls, and people are like, what the, what's going on here? You guys are taking over the damn ship. So, I mean, I guess I could see it both ways, but that's a great question, Captain's Table MDR. And Pam, thanks for calling. Thanks for calling again.
Somebody brought up the Australian cruise. There was a family on there. There was like 40 people in a family, 40 people in a family on the cruise, and they just started beating people up. I don't know if you remember hearing that story, and they all got kicked off, but I don't think that was the same. That wasn't the same situation. That was just, these guys were just, I guess, thugs running around, just getting into fights, picking fights. You remember hearing about that one?
No, I don't. I remember hearing about Nancy's big brawl when she was on the Horizon the week before us, and there were people held in the room by security.
Yeah.
But Tommy, I gotta address something here. We got a massive super chat from Lori DeShiel from the West Coast. She says, just want to thank you both for tonight's mashup. Great cruising discussion. By the way, Doodles is running Foot Fetish Films from Florida. He will be back soon. Oh, boy. Well, Pam, thank you for the question, and Captain Stable MDR, great question. Appreciate it.
All right. Later, guys.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you.
I was going to play the Doodles foot fetish clip, but I must have lost it. There's so much stuff going on tonight. But, man, Doodles makes fun of me because every night I say, I think we covered all the bases. And I know, every week, Tommy, I watch the chat, right? And I watch the replay. And I see the comments that I miss, and it gets me right in the subcockles. Like, it truly hurts.
Yeah.
And, I do the best that I can, but, we get to yakking away, and it's hard to follow along. Some of my favorite live streamers, they can keep the conversation flowing and follow those comments, and just, it's like D. Decker would say, it's just a running commentary. But we kind of deep dive into things, and it's kind of hard to, follow along. So can we call John, says Nancy Fields. Absolutely. Call very quickly because we're going to shut her down here in a minute. But, yes, we'd love to talk to Dancy. Give us a quick shout if you've got the number. D. Decker, she says, go Aussies. Speaking of, let me just play this one more time because this is one of my favorites. Love that video. So yeah, Dancy, if you guys have the number, maybe I need to unlock my phone real quick and make sure. Let me see. I'll make sure quickly that I'm set up for that. Okay. If you guys call in the next minute or so, we'll take the call. But York likes to make fun of me, Tommy, because I'm always like, we covered all the bases. Like, that's my tagline.
Yeah, that means it was starting to wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my deal. We got a call. Let's take it. I think I know who this is, but let's just do this real quick. Is this Playing with the Queen of Slots?
Hello, it's Nancy.
I know it is really hot. If that's what I have to do, I'd do anything for you.
I'll see you in a month. Yee.
This is the Queen of Slots, Nancy Fields, and I'm assuming she's sitting quite close to Daniel, right?
I sure am.
Daniel, my brother, you are older than me. We'll see you in Vegas. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing here. But so you got a question for us,
okay.
Nancy?
Yeah. Tommy, do you play in the casinos?
Yes, I do.
Dan wants to ask a question this minute.
So the question would be, we're like 3 seconds behind the phone.
Okay.
What?
I was going to go down the same line that Nancy went down. I know Tommy plays a little bit more in the casino than necessarily we talk about on the ship show. And what kind of benefits do you get from playing in the casino, and what's your best casino night you've had?
That's a fantastic question.
Okay. It's a crazy pendulum. You know what I mean? I can tell you, I didn't pay for cruises in 2014 because for whatever reason, Carnival was a lot more generous with what their, I guess, it would be this letter. It was such a glorious letter that if you won a lot.
I've heard of this letter.
Yeah, at the end of the cruise, if you lost a lot, I remember one time I got the letter twice, and I cruised like 3 times in a row that year, and I got the letter twice, and then I just took a beat, and I was like, I lost like maybe $1,900, and I'm just sitting there, just like, it had happened fast too. So I saw the pit boss, and I called him over. I was like, hey, what's up, boss? He's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, you saw what just happened to me at that table in that short amount of time, right? He goes, yes, boss. It was bad. I saw it. It was bad. and I'm like, okay. So you know what? Whatever you could do, maybe there's a letter. Maybe I get back to my cabin.
Super awesome comment.
Very appreciate it. He's like, we'll see. And of course, there was a letter. It was the same standard thing. It was 7 days. Pick your cruise. It was basically just any 7 days, but you had to book it within 30 days, and the sailing had to be within 60 days. So that was the biggest loss. Other than that, it's tough now. It's a lot tougher now. They give you these little nickel and dime deals. They'll take a couple of Carnival's always giving you these deals where you're probably getting 25% off. Royal Caribbean's giving you more of a cash value base to it. Ends up being about 25% off. So it's a lot less now than it used to be. But the best night I had was after I lost. I had gone down about $2,500 on the last night. I was with this girl that I was, we were hanging out, and on the last night, in the last 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, whatever. So we sat at the table. I stopped playing. I had given her $100 to play with for fun, like maybe 15 minutes ago. And then I just decided, because she was making that last, I said, all right, let me get back in. So I got back in with $100. I'm down like a lot. I put the $100 back in. I made all of it back. Ended up going up $2,800 for the night.
Get the heck out of town.
Went back.
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah.
Oh, would you?
PCB. Pure cruise bliss right there.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
My goodness. I'm supposed
to. The gambling will keep you going. Like you want to stay awake at the end of a night on a cruise. Put a couple of dollars on red, or kind of sit at a blackjack table, or like you said, craps, and you'll have no problem staying awake.
You got that right, especially when there's money on the line. However, I've found that I enjoy watching others gamble. I spent many a night on the Carnival Horizon watching Jamie from Sharon at Sea Travel play roulette, and I was fascinated by the whole thing. You know what I mean? I didn't gamble, but I was just fascinated. I think I dropped maybe $10 on the craps table. I don't know, whatever the minimum bet was. But, you know, the thing is, the cruise line isn't regulated, right? When in the casino. So
no, not as much it is on land in AC or Vegas.
Right. So, you know, it's kind of like you just wonder, I don't know. What do I know? But I'm just not a big gambler anyway. But I do enjoy some craps.
Question for you though. Like what? So you said you're not a big gambler, but you do play a little craps, and that's interesting to me because I don't know how to play craps. I consider myself a pretty aggressive blackjack guy. I love playing every night. I try to put some time at the blackjack table, some roulette. How did you end up skipping over those and going right to craps?
Oh, I can answer that question easily. The first thing I went to play was blackjack, and I sat down at a table thinking I know how to play 21, and I got yelled at by 4 different people at the table because apparently I didn't do the right thing. And I was like, you know what? I don't need that in my life. I'm out of here. Yeah. I'm not doing this. And then I went to a craps table, and it was at the Stratosphere Casino in Las Vegas. And it was midday, and they were teaching classes on how to play. And I kind of learned a few of the ins and outs. But so for 2 days in a row at the Stratosphere, I won $400 each night on the craps table. So I thought I was like a craps expert, right?
Yeah.
Ever since those 2 days in Las Vegas, I've lost every penny I've ever spent on craps. I've never came out ahead. But we got a super chat from Timothy Walters. He says, thanks, Tommy, for co-hosting tonight. Enjoyed all the great info. Hey, John, any good reliable places in Vegas for tattoos, let me know. There's an inside joke there because Jamie from Sharon at Sea is going to get the Ship Show logo right above his butt crack. And I'm going to get the Sharon at Sea logo right above mine. He doesn't know that, and I just made that up, but still. There's plenty of good tattoo parlors in Vegas, although I don't know that any of them are open. But thank you for this. Thank you. Daniel Fields, he sent a super chat. He says, Tommy, what are pockets? The Coop wants to know.
Do you know what pockets are, John?
Yes, but I'd rather hear it from you.
Okay. No, it's just, it's single gentlemen. We go on cruises. We enjoy ourselves. And it would be un-American as far as I'm concerned if you didn't notice a group of pretty young ladies that might be walking across the Lido deck as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, if you saw, we wouldn't yell, hey, look at them. They're pretty. You don't do that. So me and my buddy Stu kind of just had this, the word pocket, I guess, can stand for a group, a little cluster of something. You know what I mean? So
there's a pocket.
Yeah, pocket, 6 o'clock. Look, pocket coming up out of the Guy's Burger. They got a pocket on the right, pocket on the left. So we would just use the word pocket to describe when there'd be a group of attractive girls that were in the area. You know what I mean?
Yep, I often have my hand in my pocket going jing-a-ling-a-ling.
You're not allowed to be, on the hunt for pockets, and pockets aren't for everybody. But
no, you're absolutely right. Trevor Bagaaaaaaak says, "Didn't you get married in Vegas?" He's talking to me. Yes, I did get married at one point at a drive-up window in Vegas, where I got a wedding with a side of fries. Yes, I did. That was circa 1994. But yes, that is true. Sharon at Sea Travel says, logo tramp stamps. Let's do it. So, guys, again, I said it earlier, and I wish York was here to hit the horn, but we appreciate you joining. And, Tommy, I can't thank you enough. This was everything and more than I thought it would be. You freaking jumped in the pool and knocked it out, as Sharon at Sea would say.
That pool looks amazing. Oh my God, that huge pool. I actually just want to go get in that pool and knock it out and just spend the whole day there.
Did you say you want to get in the pool and knock it out?
Let's see. Okay. Sorry, I cut you off. Yeah, so what were you saying?
No, I'm saying I had an absolute blast when, I absolutely was terrified to do it. I'm a podcaster, you know what I mean? There's a lot of information, I like to go through, and I like to kind of have a back and forth, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's by email. But when you asked me to do this, I was like, there's not really saying no to this is not an option, despite how, and the reason I was a little apprehensive is just because of what you guys have and what you guys have built and what you guys do here between you and between York and the whole community you've put together. It's a pleasure to watch, and I'm really, really glad you're out there. I'm really, really glad you're out there doing what you do, John.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And honestly, right back at you. Like, I don't know that I told the whole story, but I discovered you, I think, well, it was a combination of people, but I remember seeing a comment from Colin Gleek one time watching our live stream. He was actually responding to someone else, right? And explaining, hey, it's a ship show, right? And it was in it, and I was thinking to myself, that's funny, and he mentioned that the Always Be Booked podcast. And then about a year ago, maybe, I don't know when it was, but Matt Allen had me on, Matt from Fantastic Cruising.
Of course. He
had me on the podcast with him, and we were talking beforehand about how we listen, to Always Be Booked. And I think you were booked to be a guest, or maybe you had already been a guest, or I'm not sure how it was, but I knew Matt thought highly of you, right? So then I started really looking into it because I value his opinion a lot. And that's kind of how it all started, where I kind of found out. I think Colin Gleek, though, was the catalyst for that one.
Great to hear. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like we're not changing. None of us are changing the world out here. We're not doing anything. We're just having some fun. And ideally, when we are at our best, we are providing a distraction, I would say.
Yeah, especially now, Tommy. Especially now. And I can't wait for more of the podcast. And I'm anxious to dive into the Patreon now that I'm Super Cone. I've spent the last 2 days prepping for this show, but I'm going to start diving into that. So I'm excited for that. And to get some of that, you don't know what you're going to get stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to get either. So
Cruise Tips TV says, oh my God, poor Sharon, you allow him to play that clip. So funny. Yeah, well, I tend to take a little liberty on occasion. Somebody sent a great comment and I lost it, and I feel bad because I wanted to read it. Tess Almond had a comment and I lost it, but I apologize. Dang it. I really wanted to read. Find one of those hemp tattoo places. So Tess Almond is suggesting that Jamie and I find a hemp tattoo place in Las Vegas, and we each get a hemp tattoo of each other's logo. And you know what? I'm going to do it. If he does it, I'll do it. But we got one last super chat, and I can't believe it. It's from, I'm truly humbled right now. It's from Cruise Tips TV. They sent us a super chat. They said, "Night boys, great job. XOXO." And you know what? This is for you, Cruise Tips TV. Thank you.
Oh, did you see the shirt though, by the way?
You, me, and the high seas. Look at you.
Cruise Tips TV shirt.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats, and all of you for tuning in despite our little hiccup at the beginning. Tommy, much love. Like I said, it couldn't have gone any better, except for the fact that we crashed out for a minute. But it's a ship show. I think that makes it even better, right?
Absolutely.
You were part of a little bit of ship showiness. And to all the people in the chat who many comments I probably missed. I apologize. I'll be watching the replay tomorrow and smacking myself in the head, but it was a fun time. I miss my doodles and I can't wait to get them back, but hopefully, Tommy, we can get you, me, and Doodles on the show again sometime soon and do another matchup.
Would love that. Even if it's for a couple minutes segment. hopefully I had very, very large shoes to fill tonight, but hopefully we got through it. I think we got through it, right?
Oh, we got through it, and you jumped in the pool and knocked it out. You absolutely jumped in the pool and knocked it out. So thank you once again. And everyone, I just want to, before I end the show, I want to do something, but I have to, it's going to take me a second. So if you see weird graphics happening, forgive me, but I want to end the show with one of the videos that truly caught me in the subcockles this week. And I think it did for most people. If you watch the intro, I'm going to show this video and then we'll do the outro. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Much love from the Ship Show, and always be booked. And by the way, in the description of this video, there is a link to the podcast that you can go and subscribe and listen to whenever you want. And if you got questions, I'll post it in the Facebook group as well, so that people can find it if they need to. We'll make it a little announcement there. And Tommy, if you got anything you want to post, feel free to post it in the group there.
No, that's it, man. Just thank you for having me. That's all I could say. Great time.
All right, I appreciate it. So we're going to show you a video that, if you're a true cruiser, will get you right in the feels, y'all. So thanks for watching, y'all. Bagaaaaaaaaak.
No, they don't get it. And if we're being honest, we wouldn't want it any other way. The bonds we've created with these seas, with these places, with these damn ships, from the friends we bring to the ones we make at sea.
So if I talk, they'll hear me. So we got to wait till this is over.
We cruisers are a part of something, a fraternity that many people we love on land, quite frankly, will never get. So why even try to make them understand? But where do we go from here? As our world has changed and the form of travel and way of life we never imagined having to live without is taken from us indefinitely.
This is such a good video.
We need to remain engaged.
I'm telling
Think
you, when
back
I
to the
say
last
that
time
picture,
you were
that was my
floating
goosebump.
carelessly somewhere across
And I
the
know
sea.
you can hear me.
On some
awesome.
pool deck with those
I know the
toes in the
people in the
water
chat can hear.
and an ice cold
That's right.
drink that's doing
We're talking
exactly what
as
it's
we're
supposed
watching
to
this
do.
amazing video. Oh,
None of
Tessa
us
Mom
could
says,
imagine
"Great
the new
show, you
words
guys,
and
I've
phrases
met a
that
new
would
cruise
make their
vlogger,
way into our
podcaster,
day-to-day.
and I need to meet Flamingo Pam and
Social
Lori
distance,
DeShiel in Vegas so we can plan
a
to
new
book
normal.
cabins on group.
What do those even mean? So as
Cruise
we
Tips
all
TV
do what
says,
we
I
do,
love this video, Tommy. Trevor
those
Gockler
neighborhood walks,
agrees.
those nervous hellos to passing strangers,
Kevin Brubaker says,
those
"This
tense
nails
trips to the store in our new disguise.
Ryan Nelson as well.
To
Amy
the powers that
Franzak.
be, whether on this earth or elsewhere, understand one thing. Our
I wasn't
spirits
kidding
will
when you
not
said
be
you knocked it
broken.
out.
No one knows when, but sometime soon we'll be overpacking, complaining about the long lines through
got
customs,
super tight. You see
embracing
how
the
the lights are
sun, the
flashing?
sand, the sea,
Yeah.
and the very best of what being on a cruise ship means to us. Now,
Lindy
our
Lou,
spirits will
thank
not
you
be broken.
for the
It could
amazing
take a
super
month.
chat. It was
could
great
take
to
a
talk
year.
to you as well. We appreciate it. Much
But
love.
when that tropical
Thank you
breeze,
so much
those
for the
tall
super chat.
palm trees, and the who knows what of the seas come calling, you can bet your ass we'll be there.
I hope I didn't.
We're going to travel across bridges, through
when it's
forests,
over.
over mountains, and we will return to the form of travel that has become more to us than anything I could possibly give words to. And let us all know that every sun
funny to
that
hear this
doesn't
heartfelt,
set behind a fiery backdrop of
this heartfelt,
crimson clouds and golden
produced
sea
video, and
gets
then
us
you listen
one
to
day
my podcast
closer
and
to
it's gonna
one
be-
that will.
the total antithesis of what that video is.
Well,
we will
yeah,
be
no,
back.
but I
No,
mean,
it's fine.
Some
it's
say
great
there's
video.
risk. Some say it's not worth it.
Really is how I
It's
feel.
not their fault.
I feel like
They
it's
just
playing again.
don't
Is
get
it,
it.
or is this still the original?
And if we're being honest,
It's like three
we wouldn't
minutes
want it
and-
any other way.
3.5 minutes or so.
Boat drinks.
Rachel Loves Disney is here. She says, "Hey everyone, it's Shark Week." Oh, there we go. There's the ending.
The Ship Show.